welcome students. I am class teacher of class 1. So children's today's topic is class 1 volume 1 subject English lesson 5 and topic name is Sammy Snail. So children's, let's go to the topic.
Sammy Snail. Sammy Snail is slowly moving. See him slide across the grass. He leaves a silver path behind him. We all know when he has passed. Sammy Snail is never worried, though he wanders far and wide. For on his back his house he carries, and when he's tired, he pops inside.
Do you remember the poem Sammy Snail? Let's read it again. Sammy Snail is slowly moving. See him slide across the grass. He leaves a silver path behind him. We all know when he has passed. Sammy Snail is never worried, though he wanders far and wide. For on his back his house he carries, and when he's tired, he pops inside. Okay? So now if you observe this, children, did you see that few words are marked in orange and few letters in them are underlined too? Did you get a guess? These letters are underlined because they say the long sound of the vowel. Now, what do you mean by the long sound? What do you mean by the vowel sound? Do you even remember what are the vowels? A, E, I, O and U. Do you remember the actions and the sounds that we do for these vowels and the other consonants too? But let's focus on these vowels. Now, these 5 vowels have 2 sounds each. That is, they have a short sound and then they also have a long sound. So the short sound of the letter A is ah with your tongue outside on your lower lip, and the long sound is A as in the aeroplane. Then the sound for the letter E, like in the word egg, is eh, and also in elephant, and the long sound is E, like in eagle. Here in leaves. The long sound of A is also there in the word snail. Correct? Now we have the letter I. The short sound of the letter I is I, like in the word ink or in the word is. And the long sound is I, where it says its own name in the word behind or ice cream. The next letter or the vowel is O. The short sound is O and the long sound is O. Okay, like in the word open, and the short sound as in the word octopus. Okay, the last vowel is the vowel U. The short sound of the vowel U is like you get in hiccups, cup or up, and U as in uniform or in unicorn. So children, remember, whenever you have the long sound or the short sound of the vowel, it's the same vowel. So observe these words again. Now read it along with me. Snail, slide, leaves, behind, wide, tired, inside. In the word inside, I and I, the letter I is there 2 times and it says the short and the long sounds. So all these words where these letters are underlined have their long sounds being said. Okay, kids? So the activity that I want you to do is write down the words which have the short sound of the vowels quickly. I give you a quick test. In this poem, just circle or write down the words which have the short sound of the vowel. Now let's read these words. Tap, red, pin, rod and cub. What are those? They are the short sounds of the vowels. That is, when these vowels come in the middle of two consonants, they say their short sound. Now see the word tap, red, pin, rod and cub. Okay, in all these words you hear the short sound. Now let's see how these short sounds and long sounds work together or are different. Here we go. What is that? It's a tap and a drop of water is dripping through it. So when you add the letter E to the word tap, we get the word tape. The tape that we use to stick things. Next is the word red. When you add an E to it, you get the word reed. What do you mean by reed? It's a weed. It's a waste plant that grows in water. That's a pin. And when you add an E to it, you get the word pine. Okay? That's the nut or the fruit of the pine tree. Okay? The next is that a stick? No, that's a rod. Okay? When you add an E to the rod, it becomes road. It's a word that you use for an action that has happened before. If you want to ride a horse, it is ride. If you rode it yesterday, then you say rode. Got it? That's a cute cub. And when you add an E to it, you get cube. The cube you play with, the Rubik's Cube, where the cube is mixed with different colors. Every side should have the same color. Clear? So now, when two vowels go walking, the first does the talking and it says its long sound. Observe this, children. Let's take the word pin. Now, what is the sound of the vowel here? Short sound, right? It says E. But when it became pine, first tell me how many vowels are there in the word pine. Two vowels, I and E. Now, when there are two vowels in a word, the first vowel, that means in this word, the letter I, the vowel I, will say its long sound. What is the long sound? I. So you will read it as pine. And whenever you have E at the end of a word, it stays silent. Okay? E does not say anything. It only helps the letter I to get its long sound. So are the other words reed, road and cube. Did you observe? The first vowel is saying its long sound, but the second vowel, that is the E, is saying S. Shh, staying silent, saying nothing. Let's see further. What are the long A words? Cage, date. Observe, children, all these words will have two vowels or more for sure. And the first vowel, that is the letter A, will say its long sound, that is A, like in lake and in vase. That's a game, ludo. Cane, sugar cane. Face and cake. Did you see, children? All these words said the long A sound and all these words ended with E and they were silent. So, children, whenever somebody calls out a word, okay, and you have to write down the spelling, listen to the sounds carefully. If the vowel is saying the long sound and at the end you do not listen to any other sound of the vowel, neither a short sound of the vowel or anything, then you know that the first sound is of the vowel which became long, so you have another vowel. And if you do not hear the short sound of the vowel, then and at the end it will have E. Seed, beak. Here, children, if you observe, the word seed has double E. That is two E's. So the second E is staying silent because the first E is saying its long sound. Observe the word beak, beak. Okay, so you don't say beak, you say beak. You have a dip at the A. So that's how you pronounce the word beak. Okay, it says the long sound of the word E and A, you can't hear it at all. Feet is like seed. That's an eel. Again, double E. Teeth. Again, E. Bead. Again, like beak, it is A. A honeybee. A weed. Right? Now, we saw a weed in water is called reed. And a weed on land, that is waste plants, that just grow on the corners of the roads are called weeds. Weeds are plants that take away the water from the soil. Even they grow in farms. If you're growing carrots, suddenly you have a weed. You have to just take it and throw it because it's of no use. Now what's the next letter? Yes, the I. Dice. File. Rice. Lice. Ooh, do you have lice on your hair? Are you itching your hair very often? Then please ask your mama to check if you have lice on your hair. They bite you. They drink your blood. It's not good. They spread diseases too. You should not have lice on your hair. Okay? You should oil your hair regularly and wash it well so that you do not get lice. Okay? Observe, children. All these words say their long sound. Okay? Of what? The letter I. Tile. Fire. Fire. Bike. And what's it? Tide. What do you mean by tide? The wave. There is a high tide and a low tide. When you go to a beach, if you've seen a beach, sometimes these waves come huge and they come over you. That's a high tide. And when the waves are low and you can happily play in them, it's called a low tide. Okay? See, children, here also all these words end with E where the E is silent but the I is saying its long sound. Now obviously guess what's the next vowel? The O. Goat. Goat. I'm not saying goat. Goat. Oat. Like the word coat. Okay? Hole. Stone. Cone. Rose. Rope. Boat. That's a doe. A female deer is called a doe. Okay? Now, if you observe here, you have O coming with A in two words and the rest end with E. The last is the letter U. Cube. Tune. What do you mean by tune? When you sing in a tune. That's a tune. June. Fuse. You would have seen this in your houses. Sometimes suddenly the current goes and then your papa goes and checks a box or a board in your house, right? That's a fuse. So if the wire in the fuse is gone, then the current is gone. But children, be careful never to touch the fuse. It will give you a terrible shock. It's dangerous. That's a tube. That's a mule. What is a mule? A mule is a combination of a horse and a donkey. A baby that is born out of a horse and a donkey is called a mule. It looks like a horse and a donkey. Did you see? Yes. And that's fume. Fume is like smoke. And what is that? Guess. Carrot. A huge carrot. Okay. Those were the words which had the sounds or the long sounds of the vowels in them. Let's play. You have to do these following actions. If you hear the long A sound, then you show me that action. If it is E, you show thumbs up. This for I, that for O, and this for U. Don't worry, I have these actions on the next screen. Look at the picture now. It's bone. right? So it's long O. What's the action that you show? That. Show me your palm. 5, I. So the long sound of I. What do you show? Open both your hands. Okay? Now playtime. This is A, that is E, this is I, that's O, and that is U. Ready, children? Tree, thumbs up. Ape, fantastic. Tire, I, both the hands. Oar, that's an oar that you use to move the boat forward. It's made of wood. It helps you give direction to the boat too. So, O, one hand up. Soap, again O, hand up. Time, I, both the hands. Gate, fantastic. A, road, that's a O. Jeep, thumbs up. Cube, U, ooh. And 9, both your hands. So did you see that, children? It's so simple. Remember the rule. When you have 2 or more vowels in a word, then the first vowel will always say its long sound. The second vowel will either say its short sound or will remain silent. Okay? So remember this and you will never make a mistake in any of the spelling.
Hope you all have understood the topic. So your homework is read this lesson about again and again, and activity book page number 18 and 19 and workbook page number 16 and 17. Thank you for watching.